morning to panelists and all people that are watching us right now. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you to our forum for this day. We are really grateful for having you guys here. Today, we are going to discuss a topic that really important and interesting that have been talking by a lot of people until this moment. So, I think all of you have been informed about this topic, which is global effective communication promotes universal peace and prosperity. To make you guys more aware about this topic, let me explain more about the effective communication. So, what is communication? What is communication? Communication is the process when two persons use to exchange their information by talking or writing like letters. Then, let's talk about effective communication. Effective communication is not only about exchanging information, it's more than that. When we're mentioning the effective communication, it's more to understanding the emotions and the purpose behind the informations that are delivered or accepted. To make an effective communication works, we need to listen clearly and catch all the points of meaning that are given and make the other person feel like being listened and being served. Effective communication seems like it should be by our own feelings, but something always happens like when we talk about a thing, then others hear something else. This made a bad thing happen like misunderstanding and hurting. When all of this happened, our circle is going to have a trouble. As long as we see the lack of effective communication has made the society in trouble. This happens because the hurting and misunderstanding, the mis and misunderstanding, sorry, and misunderstanding are staying on them everywhere and every time that cause divisions and fights among the society. So, peace of difficult to be established. From what I've mentioned, the lack of effective communication will establish a lot of problems and influencing the issue of making a peace in universal. This big issue must be highlighted by us. By all things that I have mentioned today, we are going to discuss deeply about how the global effective communication can promote universal peace and prosperity. We will touch about what things that used to build an effective communication and why this issue is so necessary. In these talks, we are going to discover the ways on how to promote the universal peace and prosperity, and the most asked thing, which is how can effective communication makes the universal peace and prosperity. So, without having any much time, let's move to the first discussion. We know what effective communication is as what I've explained on the first of my speech. We know that effective communication is not only about exchanging information by speech or writing letters. It's more than that. Effective communication happens when we use to understand the feeling and the purpose behind the information from what have delivered to us. I would like to ask Brother Azwar. Brother Azwar, which is our first panelist. The question now is, how can people use to understand the emotion points behind the information, or in the other word, how can we develop effective communication? Yes, Brother Azwar.
Uh, it is nice to hear for our moderator explanation about our topic today just now. Let's thank our moderator Hareez for the great explanation. It is such a pleasure for me to answer the question given by our moderator just now about how we can develop effective communication. Well, to create an effective communication, we need to master its skill first. Effective communication skills are fundamental to success in many aspects of life. Many jobs require strong communication skill. People with good communication skills also usually enjoy better interpersonal relationship with friends and family. Effective communication is therefore a key interpersonal skill, and learning how to improve your communication has many benefits. However, many people find it difficult to know where to start. So it is really important to master these skills if we want to develop effective communication in every situation. So, first skill that we all need. to master to create effective communication is a listening skill. Listening is one of the most common areas that need improvement when we want to communicate with others. We all have a tendency to forget that communication is a two-way process. We fall into the trap of broadcasting, where we just issue a message and fail to listen to the response. Quite a lot of quite a lot of the time we are not really listening to others in conversation, but thinking about what we plan to say next. This somehow lead to the failure of effective communication to occur. Good listeners use the technique of clarification and reflection to confirm what the other people has said and avoid any confusion. This technique also demonstrates very clearly that you are listening, just like active listening. Well, let me explain more about these two techniques. First is clarification. This technique means like you need to clarify what is said by other person you communicate. Well, this technique actually helps the speaker to see the other point of view of what the speaker is talking at the time. This technique can be done by first ask about question for vague statement or restate wrong interpretation to force further explanation by the speaker. As example, we can ask the speaker certain question like to the speaker after the speaker finished the speech. Like you said that you reacted immediately, was this still on the same day? Second technique is reflecting. This is the skill of repeating what you heard the speaker say, but avoiding parroting it back verbatim. You are trying to capture the essence of what they said and reflect it back to them. You may also try to capture that you may also try to capture the feelings that are conveyed. By doing these two techniques, we can show that we are listening carefully to what the speaker are saying, and by this, we can create an effective communication. So
Oh,
let's move to the second skill. Second skill that we need to master to provide effective communication is understanding nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is a type of communication that does not require speaking or writing. It is in easy way. It's like nodding or shaking your head to say yes or no, rolling your eyes to indicate annoyance, or sighing to indicate exasperation or disappointment. It can happen in conscious or unconscious. Much of any message is communicated non-verbally, so estimates suggest that this may be as much as 80% of communication. It is therefore important to consider and understand nonverbal communication, particularly when it is absent or reduced, such as when you are communicating in writing or by telephone. Nonverbal communication is often thought of as a body language, but it actually covers far more. It includes, for example, tone, pitch, pitch of the voice, body movement, eye contact, posture, facial expression, and even physiological change such as sweating. You can therefore understand other people better by paying close attention to their nonverbal communication. You can also ensure that your message is conveyed more clearly by ensuring that your words and body language are consistent. So it is really important for us to study and understanding nonverbal communication. Well, we can train ourselves to master this skill by always pay attention to the speaker when the speaker is talking to make sure we can train ourselves to understand the nonverbal communication that may happen consciously or unconsciously, so that we can understand better what the speaker are trying to convey to us. The next skill is emotional awareness and management. Emotional awareness and management are one of the important components in making a great and effective communication. Well, we need to make sure to aware of others' emotion and our own emotion so that we can avoid unhealthy argument or fight in our communication if we let the emotion take over. This understanding of our own and others' emotion is known as emotional intelligence. At work, it is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that everything should be logical and that emotion has no place. However, we are human and therefore messy and emotional. None of us can leave our emotions at home, and nor should we try to do so. That is not to say that we should let it all hang out. However, an awareness of emotions, both positive and negative, can definitely improve communication. Emotional intelligence covers a wide range of skills, usually divided into personal skills and social skills. The personal skill includes self-awareness, self-regulation, and motivation. The social skills include empathy and social skill. Each one of these is broken down into more skills. There are also many ways to develop your own emotion intelligence. Like first of all, manage your negative emotion. When you are able to manage and reduce your negative emotions, you are less likely to get overwhelmed. Easier said than done, right? Haha. Try this if something is upsetting you, but don't jump to conclusion. Instead, allow yourself to look at the situation in a variety of ways. Try to look at things objectively so you don't get reeled up as easily. Practice mindfulness in communication and notice how your perspective changes. The second way is be mindful of your vocabulary. Huh. Focus on becoming a stronger communicator. Emotionally intelligent people tend to use more specific words that can help communicate deficiencies. Had a bad conversation with others, what made it so bad, and what can you do to fix it next time? Ah, when you can pinpoint what's going on, you have a higher likelihood of addressing the problem instead of just stewing on it. Well, if you can master emotional awareness and management emotional and get your own emotional intelligence, you can surely make and create an effective communication with other people. So the last skill from me that can help you to create an effective communication is asking questions. The thing where many people struggle in communication is questioning. Many people are so scared to ask questions during conversation because they worry if by doing that people will think that they are not pay attention on what the speaker are talking all the time. Before again, if there are many people in that conversation, it will make it more worse. Questioning is a crucial skill to ensure that you have understood someone's message correctly. It is also a very good way of obtaining more information about a particular topic or simply starting a good conversation and keeping it going. Those with good questioning skill are often also seen as very good listener because they tend to spend far more time drawing information out from others than broadcasting their own opinions. Well, if you have the problem of scared to ask a question or struggle to do so, don't worry because there are many ways that we can do to develop questioning skill.
Uh,
So one of them is like to ask question often. Perhaps the most effective way to improve your questioning skill is to ask question as often as you can to the one who you more familiar to. Repetition is a great way to enhance a skill, and asking questions repeatedly can help you improve your questioning skill by allowing you to ask different type of questions about various subjects and to observe which questions seem to be most effective. This can inform the questions you ask in the future by identifying the concept that you enjoy learning more about and the kinds of detail that you notice often and can reduce the scare to ask the question. Well, from all of that, I can say that asking question also can help us to develop an effective communication. Well, from what I see here, that's all I can explain about how to develop or create an effective communication. Hopefully, it can be the answer for the question that were asked by our moderator. Well, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
wow, such a great answer from the panelist one as well. So, from what we have heard from his answer, we know that there is a few ways on how to develop effective communication in effort to establish the peace in universal. From Azwar's answer, he said that good communication skills of people can develop this. This is because it can make the relationship in our circle become more enjoyable. So, we must improve our skill in communication in case of making our mission effective. Then, he also mentioned that listening skill is necessary. We know that communication is two-way process. As we know from the answer, a good listener always use a technique to make their listening process great. There is two ways to make listening process well. First one is clarification, which is we must clarify what others said to us, and the second is reflection, which is we repeat what the speaker says. People always ignore this element in listening that make their skills in listening drop. So again, we must improve this element to make listening skills better and having an effective communication. Azwa also mentioned that understanding nonverbal communication is also the key. It is like we give a sign or response, but not using any speaking or writing. It means that we use another ways to give that. Sorry, it means that we use another ways to give our point, like using our body to show a specific sign. Sometimes we know, sometimes we know body language. From what I see, as well, this element is so worth to show that we are really pay our attention to others. So this will make a piece in some conversation. The other skills is also related to emotion management, which is emotional awareness. The understanding of others and our emotion is really necessary. This is really important because we will aware on what will we say to others. We can be aware by their emotions, which is negative or positive. By that, we will know what thing that suit for our conversation in making a harmonic communication. This skill has been mentioned by Azwar in his answer as emotional intelligence. And I am totally agree with Azwar, which is asking question is also the key. We mustn't be worried to ask any question to others. Actually, when we ask to others, it shows that we are really focused on what they said. Others will have a feeling that we are aware with them and they feel like being served well. So the effective communication can be developed. So thank you, Azwar, for the first question. Let's move.
You're welcome.
Okay. Brother Danish, as a panelist too. So we are just finished on discussing the ways to develop an effective communication. We have talked a lot about that. So from what we have discussed, Why do you think that global effective communication is really necessary?
Thank you to our moderator for his good communication with Azwar. So, as we see, an effective communication is a very important to our daily life, to understanding and to interacting with other person like Azwar and Haris did just now. So, I will give my answer for the question that Haris given. There is this that is why effective communication skill are important in today's world. Communication is at the heart of human interaction. Human developed language for a long time ago, so the communication could be made more effective because the number of human are increased day by day. It will make the communication getting harder to deliver if the communication skill not developed until today. What we lacked back then was the need to infuse a global approach to our communication skill. With the advent of the internet and the digitalization of communication, we have been able to instantly communication with people across the globe by only sitting at home or like laying on the bed, and only use the technology, for example, for mobile phone. We can communicate with person who was live far from our place. It has become commonplace to our people nowadays, especially to our teenage. I give the close example. Teenage are very exposed to the technology like mobile phone. They are using the phone frequently to interact with their teacher and classmate to studying. People playing mobile game with their friend at home, and also use it to make phone call with their family member, for the student who live at hostel especially, or with their friend, even also with their lover, right? Today today it costs us nothing more than data we use to communicate to anyone anywhere in the world, from instant email to instant video call. The journey of communication through digital channel has been quick, within a decade or two at max. We have been able to remove so many barriers that once exist. We can now interact with anyone across the globe from the comfort out of our home without burning a hole of a hole in our pocket. But the actual answer for hardest questions is, why do we need to develop effective global communication skills? To answer it, here are the key reason I could extract that make this soft skill an essential one to develop. We can shape a better future for ourselves when we can work together. That can only happen if we are able to communicate effectively with each other. It is about how the world right now are getting better day by day. It is all because the good communication with each other. Just imagine if the human are not good in their communication, maybe the world are not like today. People will make all things by themselves without any help from other human. For example, if the architect are not good in a communication, we are not able we are not be able to live in a beautiful house and a big unique design, because the architect did not know how to communicate with the builder, and they have to build their home by themselves. And for the people that don't have a expert of building, maybe now living in a cave or suitable for them to take shelter, it is because they don't have the skills to communicate with others. And if they have a skill to communicate, people can keep helping each other to create something new for a better future of themselves. Effective global communication skill can help us share our thought and ideas with people worldwide and promote growth, understanding, and harmony. This is important skills that we have to learn because without the communication skills, people didn't know to understanding of what other people want to deliver to them. With the good communication skills, also will make a comfortable environment to other person. For example, many people have their special person who can be their place when they are in a bad or good day. Best friend, for example, are the person that know all about ourselves because we always spill out story and time with them almost every day. So why is this happen? It is because when the person who have a good communication skills indirectly will create a comfort environment to other person. The person who have a skills of communication can also be a good listener. It helps we to be a sympathy and empathy person to each other indirectly, create a comfortable and supportive environment for mutual understanding on a deeper scales. So this is why the communication skills are important to our world life, whole life, to make every person around us make comfortable, more comfortable to communicate with us, and indirectly can make friends who can be a best friend so that we will never be lonely on this world. Other than that, a shared vision to build a better world can be achieved if there is no room left for any miscommunications and misunderstandings. If we have a good communication skills, there is no more misunderstanding between the people on the country. So we can build a better environment, which is no more crime that occur in a country. The politic will be more better if we practice ourselves how to gain a good communication skills. So the government can develop the country throughout the world, and the other country will follow that indirectly, will change the attitude of people because they want to build a better world. For example, all people want to achieve many things on this world, so they have to do something good to make the easier way how to achieve. Like student want to achieve an excellent result of their examination, so they cannot just hope or what. They have to do something to achieve that with doing study group. In in study group, they use their communication skills to sharing their knowledge with their friends. It will help it will help them to catch the knowledge more faster, to use it for the class or the for or in the examination hall. The knowledge that they are gained by studying group will make their memory stronger for a long time. Let's say if they don't have the good communication skill, they have a they have to study alone at home or class by themselves because no one want to study with the person who don't have a communication skill. It will make the study getting harder and indirectly will make the student become stressed because have to remember a lot of things that and have to research have to search all the knowledge by themselves. It will cause their result. When they get the bad result on their examination, they will get more stress about how to and where they want to continue their studies. It will make their future become worse and very and they cannot achieve their ambition. So, my opinion is the good communication skills are very important to us if we want to gain something better to our life. I think that is all from me, and I will give to Haris to conclude my point just now. Thank you.
Brilliant, Brother Danish. It's such an amazing opinion. Thanks. So, Danish has mentioned in the yearly of his talk that the number of people has increased day by day, year by year, and decade by decade. The increasing of people has made a lot of languages were created. In the each of language, there will be a lot of accent appeared, which is the way people talk, the way people ask, people greetings, and also the way people used to hear what others says. Because of that, the challenging in communication has become harder. To a certain people, that makes the effective communication skills become so important. So, what we see from Danish answer, which is a few points that why the effective communication skills must be highlighted. A part of it, which is what we see from his answer, is we can create a beautiful future for humankind. This can be appeared when we use the effective communication skills in the way to work together. I am really excited from the example that Brother Danish has created to explain this, which is just imagine that if people are not good in conversation, maybe we will live uncomfortably. Yes, we used to live like that. Where I say that, I will give you another analogy. Try to imagine if you got robbed by a robbery, then you try to tell the policeman about what has happened to you. But the policeman don't understand what you're talking about. So how can your case being solved? So this can show you why this skills is so important in the way to help each other. Other than that, we can also make the environment harmony. This is going to happen because the misunderstanding between people that influencing to be a crime will not happen. And I am totally agree that with this skill, we can also gain our knowledge like what Danish has said. Why not? People can share the information quickly because the way people talk to give an information to others is good. And also, the way people achieve it is well. So, the sharing of information and knowledge can be so clear. So, thank you again, Danish, for your answer. I think it is such a clear opinion in discussing the importance of these skills. So, I think we are going to round two, which is the session. We will discuss deeply on how to make people aware about these skills, which is effective communication. So, for the opening of this round, we will start with Brother Azwar, which is the first panelist. So, bro, at the first session, we have talked about two big points of effective communication skills. And the points was how can we develop and the necessary of these skills. As the first panelist for the session, Azwar, what are playing in my mind and also audiences? How do we promote universal peace and prosperity?
Oh, Thank you, Hareez, for the question given. It is really interesting for me to discuss about how we can promote peace to the others. Well, it is actually a lot of ways we can do to promote world peace. But here, I will highlight just a few of them. Before that, let's we all take a few time to know about what universal peace is all about.
Okay.
World peace or peace on earth is the concept of an ideal state of peace within and among all people and nations on planet earth. Different cultures, religion, philosophies, and organizations have varying concepts on how such a state will come about. Various religious and secular organizations have the state aim of achieving world peace through addressing human rights, technology, education, engineering, medicine, or diplomacy used as the end to all forms of fighting. World peace is not just free from wars, it is more than that. Where world peace is also actually means by freedom from civil disturbance, freedom from disquieting and oppressive thought and emotion, harmony in personal relation, and many more, which can bring goodness to the people. So, if we look deeply about this topic, we can see that it has many importance to the human that become the reason why we all need to fight to promote universal peace and prosperity to all people around the world. But before that, we need to know how or what we can do to promote this universal peace and prosperity. Don't worry. Don't worry, everyone. I will share about it right now with you guys. Well, the first way to promote universal peace will start with our own self, sorry, which is make personal commitment to non-violence. As we know, violence is one of the main causes that can break the world peace. Therefore, we need to try to stop this thing from keep happen, and before that we need to make sure that ourselves can give full commitment to non-violence. Well, personal commitment to non-violence can I simply say that the commitment to always being and living that orients in thought, word, and deed toward integrating love through encourage in individual and collective action aimed at preserving what serves life and at challenging what doesn't to transform itself so the human family can realign with life. Well, all of these are truly possible, and there is actually many ways to do so. Nonviolence begins with learning how to be less violent and more compassionate with ourselves. We learn by building the courage to speak and act like we are respect, honor, and reverence for our own being. So some of the ways that we can do to practice make personal commitment to nonviolence are like first is watch your language. We all need to be remember that word is matter. Why? Well, think of the phrase, the words you use in your daily life, like you kill it, he shoot from the hip. The story is a bombshell. Do praise like this contribute to a culture of many non-violence or one of the violence? More importantly, those praises reflexively, we all need to focus on that. The second way to practice yourself is always celebrate kindness, not darkness. We rarely celebrate kindness, trust, and empathy. The stories in our media often focus on conflict and strength. It is tough people who get things done in our society. Toughness is not a quality that makes peacemakers great. Staring down the barrel of a gun or forgiving an enemy are actions that take an inner strength. Many find unfathomable, but that kind of strength is less about toughness, toughness, and more akin to a vast kindness. The ability to love in ways many of us haven't even imagined. I think about my daily life. If if I do a kickboxing routine as a daily workout, the coach emphasizes physical strength so that no one will mess with me. Sorry. If I get my oil changed in my car and the mechanic notes that my tires need changing too, I assume I've been taken advantage of and don't trust him. And certainly, if I scroll through the news, I hear about how we all need to be tough on this economic rival or cat problem. The need to be tough, unforgiving, and dominant is reinforced everywhere we look. What does that to do? Uh, what does that to do in our relationship to our society? Well, that's why to celebrate kindness over toughness. The third way from me, and I assume it to be the last from me, is be non-violent to yourself. Finally, life peacefully toward yourself. Every time you put yourself down, dismiss your own work, or engage in some form of self-suppression. So you do violence to yourself, meet your very soul over time. It becomes hard to remember why you are good, worthy person who share in the common dignity of all people. And let's face it, if this doesn't life within you, you can share it in the work. You can do the work of nonsense, and that work is just as necessary now as it ever been. That's always that I can suggest. From here, I guess it is proven that by make a personal commitment to non-violence can be part of ways to promote universal peace and prosperity.
Azwar, are you here? Azwar, are you here? Azwar, are you here? So I think that's the great answer from Azwar. Azwar, your answer has opened my eyes. I am so truly excited when you are giving that point. I also believe that the audiences are also feel the same. So we have realized that there were so many ways on how we can promote universal to be harmony. From many of ways, Azwa has mentioned a few ways about it. A part of it is avoiding a violence. I think all of us always be careless about these things. Sorry, there are so many people that already know about this, but they didn't take any action into it. As a person, we really need to make ourselves to non-violence with learning and action on how to fix it. As I has said a free action to be non-violence, like creating the ability to speak and act with respect. So this is so clear for us as a person in making our life good. We can also learn to be grateful about kindness because it can reduce the conflict happened between us. To make the universal peace, I agree with Azwa that we must stop the prejudice and discrimination. We must be together to speak about this. There are so many ways to speak about this, and a part of it is when we see something that's supposed to be a prejudice, especially a negative thought. We must take an action effectively, like giving an advice or something like that. That also can reduce the discrimination. I found out that the discrimination is like a selfish when Azwa said that a person that practicing it is actually to protect their opportunities. These things have made many problems happen. Like Azwa said, depression, the relationship between people broken, and so on. So speak out about that is so important. Other than that, we must educate people by using any medium to promote a peaceful in universal. I got amazed by this answer that when teach people through a lot of medium, we can boost their confidence and also make their thinking become free. How you know that? This day, we got a lot of platforms that we can use to educate people like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and so on. I discovered when I scroll down the TikTok apps, there are so many videos about education and motivation. So I think this can make the thoughts of people become positive, and also can make their thinking become more mature. That can make their belief and confidence boosted. People can also gain their knowledge and share with others. Then, I think people can use it to spread the positive environment to each other. And then they can take care of each other. So, this can build the peace of universal better. I am so loved of this point. Aswise also mentioned that I am so grateful about his answer is take care of our environment and nature. This kind of element plays a big role to make our life peace. Environment is something that really influencing in our life, which is when we grow up and stay in positive environment, we can have a magnificent harmony in living. That's why we must take care of it. Nature is part of life. Without nature, we can live in universal comfortably. Why? Why? Because nature has given so many benefits in our life, like keeping the oxygen and so on. So I think it's enough to promote the peace in universal by using those ways. You're so great as well. So
Haris,
let's move
Haris,
to the next question, and I think this is gonna be our last discussion. Nothing as well. I just said that you are great. Um.
can I continue a little bit of your explanation? Like I can elaborate more.
Oh yeah. Go on.
Well, from what I hear from your speech, I would like to elaborate more about it, which is I will start with the second way to promote universal peace. So let me explain a little bit. Well, the second way to promote universal peace and prosperity is like to speak out against prejudice and discrimination when you see it. First, for me, I will explain a little bit about prejudice and discrimination. Prejudice and discrimination have been prevalent throughout human history. Prejudice has to do with the inflexible and irrational attitude and opinion held by members of one group about another, while discrimination refers to behavior directed against another group. Being prejudiced Brain prejudice also usually means having preconceived belief about groups of people or cultural practice. Prejudice can either be positive or negative. Both forms are usually preconceived and difficult to alter. The negative form of prejudice can lead to discrimination, although it is possible to be prejudiced and not act upon the attitude. Those who practice discrimination do so to protect opportunities for themselves by denying access to to those whom they believe do not deserve the same treatment as everyone else. Well, it is important to speak up against this thing when we see that it is possible to bring worse to many people and to the victim also. As we know that discrimination and prejudice experience were associated with poorer self-rated health, greater depression, and greater relationship strain. Prejudice and discrimination, exclude people with mental health and substance use problem from activities that are open to other people. This limits people's ability to believe the negative thing that other people and the media say about them, like self-stigma. So have lower self-esteem because they feel guilt and shame. It will also cause the limits to people's ability to get a job, to get a keep a safe place to live, and to get a health care, including treatment for substance use and mental health problem and other support. So from all of that negative impact that can be have by the victim of this prejudice and discrimination thing, we can clearly see that it wouldn't make the world better. Beside, it can break the universal peace. So without any doubt that it is really important for us to speak up against this thing to help those who not able to defend themselves. In the other, to do that, we all need to build our courage, be brave, and defend themselves, and stood hardly on the true side to help create a better world. From all of this, we can tell that speak up against prejudice and discrimination also can be used to promote universal peace and prosperity. Beside that, I also would like to elaborate more about the third way that can be done to promote universal peace, like just said by Hareez just now, which is educate people by using any platform. Okay, nowadays, we all need to be aware that we all exposed to many platforms that can be used to transfer information to many people all around the world. For the example, like I can say social media platform. Social, which means a form of electronic communication, including but not limited to websites for social networking and microblogging, through which users create online community to share information, ideas, personal message, and other content that can be accessed by many people all around the world just by having the device and also the internet. So it is such a great help in our fight to promote universal peace by education by using this platform. Beside, Beside that, an early education may help many people to realize about how important is universal peace to them all. Starting from that they all maybe will slowly to practice to also create an universal peace together and share it with many more people. Well, what's about the content? We can educate people by teach and give them the information about what universal peace is really, the importance of it, how to promote universal peace all around the world, the benefit of the universal peace, impact of a broken peace, and how to maintain world peace, and many more that can attract public and make them realize how important this matter is really. At last, we all must be thinking about how telling all these things can make people realize. Okay, so how by just giving education can make people open their eyes about this thing. One thing is education has been touted as one of the most powerful tools we can implement in our global effort to promote world peace. How? Let me explain how. Firstly, education can boost confidence uh, and also I'm sorry. Just education can breed confidence. Okay. Hope, as Confucius said it as far back as 500 before century, education breed confidence, confidence breed hope, and hope breed peace. Confidence has been defined as the belief that you can succeed at something and a sense of self-assurance. Knowledge is a key that you can succeed at something and a sense of self-assurance. Okay, sorry, I think I got a little bit far. Let me repeat again. Knowledge is a key to confident builder. It allows one to feel a sense of accomplishment, to be more fearless, and to grow in unexpected ways. This confidence and self-assurance in turn spark motivation and optimism, or hope, as Confucius said. To work toward peace, the second is education. Promote independent thinking. Education encourages independent thinking, and it opens doors to new ideas. Independent thinkers tend to try to make sense of the world and draw their own conclusions instead of blindly following the belief of others. Independent thinkers may be less likely to join militant groups or be followers, and may instead be leaders toward positive change and action. Well, the last one is education inspire problem solving skill. Along with math skill that are learned in classroom, students are often challenged to use logical thinking in order to analyze different pieces of literature, the significance of historical event, and scientific finding. Coupled with independent thinking, this critical thinking skill can lead to innovative solutions and alternative to violence. Well, this is how education work out to make people realize and open their eye about this initiative to promote universal peace and prosperity. Then from all I said just now, I can say that educate people about this matter through any platform can also can also be one of the way to promote universal peace. So the last thing that I would like to elaborate about what Hareez just said is the last way to promote universal peace and prosperity, which is respect your environment and taking care of the nature. Nature also plays a big role in maintaining our world peace. Without realizing it, nature is one potential tool that able to reducing human violence. It also can help human to get their own inner peace and realization while being in the nature. Right now, we all must be questioning about how nature can reduce human violence, right? We let me share something about it. For your information, green exercise can improve physiological. I'm sorry, not a physiological. Green exercise can improve psychological health. There is growing empirical evidence to show that exposure to nature brings substantial mental health benefit. According to the Green Exercise and Green Care, a report by researcher at the University of Essex, the findings suggest that priority should be given to developing the use of green exercise as a therapeutic intervention caused by these benefits, such as improvement of psychological well-being, generation of physical health benefit by reducing blood pressure and burning calories, and the building of social network. The second thing is other species help children develop empathy. This is really good to give the children a good thing like empathy since they still child. we have known for decades that children and the elderly are calm when domestic pets are introduced in therapy or included in rehabilitative or residential care. We also know that children can learn empathy by caring for pets. Some mental health practitioners are taking the next step, which is using pets and natural environment as part of the therapy sessions. Jerry L. Spehar, a licensed clinical social worker and play therapist who has served as executive director of the Child Abuse Prevention Center in Raleigh, NC, recommend to therapists to bring nature play into the session, as it is a resource rich in opportunity for practicing kindness and introduce them to every form of life and teach respect for it. That's a little bit of how nature can reduce violence among the human. Besides, we also can't forget that nature also gives us oxygen to breathe and food to be eat, which also a part in completing human peace in this world. Because all of that now is clear why we should take care of our nature and stop destroying them. Nowadays, we can see how many of human activity such like open burning, deforestation, pollution, and many more already killing our nature. So it is our responsibility to take care of our nature. But again, how we can do it? Firstly, we can plant more trees. Trees are the most important source of oxygen as they absorb carbon dioxide and supply us with clean, fresh air to breathe. They help to reduce ozone. They help to reduce ozone level in the atmosphere, minimize noise pollution, and produce a variety of fruits and flowers with with a variety of health advantage. Indoor plant can also Indoor plant can also help to minimize air pollutant like benzene and nitrogen dioxide while also lowering the temperature in your house. The second one is save electricity. When you leave a room or aren't using something, turn off the light, fan, or air conditioner during the day. And try to make better use of sunshine and avoid utilizing artificial light when you are not using an electronic appliance. Unplug it. It not only help the environment, but it also save your money on power. Well, there's many more we can do to take care of our nature so that our nature will keep play the role in produce world peace to us. From all of that, it is proven it is proven that taking care of the nature can be also be the ways to promote the universal peace and prosperity. Well, I guess that's all I can give and elaborate about what Haris just said just now. So let's move to the next question that will be asked by Haris to the our other panel. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Azwar, again for your answer. Actually, Azwar got a problem, which is a line problem. That's why I'm trying to answer this question first, and
I
it can be continued by Azwar. So let's move to the next question, and I think this is gonna be our last discussion, which is how can the skill of effective communication can spread the universal peace and prosperity. I would like to bring this as question to our brilliant panel, which is Danish.
That was a good explanation, Hareez, about what was presented by our first panel, Azwa, just now. I am totally agree with what was he said, and I think all the people who are watching our forum now will also agree with that. So now it's my turn to giving an explanation about our last topic for today, which is how is the effective communication can promote a universal peace and prosperity. This question was a good question. Why would I say like that? It is because we as human in this planet can have to be responsible on what happened to this world. We are the one who create the future with our thinking every day. Many ways that we can do to build a better world on the future. Among one of them is this effective communication that we talk about. So, Brother Hareez already asked me about how this effective communication can promote universal peace and prosperity, right? I will answer the question based on my opinion. There are numerous benefits to consider. Here is how effective communication promote universal peace and prosperity. The first one is it can promote trust. Why would I say like that? It is very clear when we have a leader of our country that have a good communication skills, they form a positive example for us, for all society. A great country is created by a great leader. So it cannot be denied that a country can be developed successfully only with a leader who is good at managing his own country, including effective communication with his people. So, as a citizens, need to be wise in determining or choosing a good leader who can shape the development of our country so that it can progress together with developed country. For example, by using the communication skills that a leader has can promote cooperation, teamwork, and trust. Trusting environment excels when communicate openly. Based on my first point, it is clear that effective communication can form a universal peace and prosperity. That is through the role of everyone in the country to be wise in choosing a leader. Being able to create a loyalty towards someone is also a way how effective communication can produce universal peace and prosperity. That is, when we can communicate effectively, it will indirectly produce trust in someone we know very well, and this will make them loyal to that person. So, how to prove that with loyalty can create universal peace and prosperity? When a person loyalty, when a person's loyalty to other, it will make it easier for them to be controlled. Then this will make it easier for a leader to realize the prosperity of his country. A leader needs to be close to his people and understand every need that all his people want. For example, by providing daily needs to people who are in difficult situation. Beside that, leader also need to prioritize student needs, such as student device to student who need them to do assignments. When the leader has felt close to his people, he has unconsciously given birth to to that person's feeling of loyalty to his leader, and it will make it easier for him to govern his country. In short, when we have a good communication skills, that we will gain a lot of of trust from many people. The last but not least, how this effective communication can cause universal peace and prosperity. It will improve a teamwork. Good communication is the backbone of strong team bonding. Leadership should model and encourage a culture of effective communication. When we have a good communication skills, also can improve productivity, engage engage team member with a solid understanding of their role and responsibility are typical more productive and unengaged team members. Team members who do not fully comprehend their role often become frustrated or unsure of their capabilities. Team members may perform their responsibility more efficiently if the information is readily available and presented effectively. It is proven that with effective communication, we can create a team that work together to create universal peace and prosperity. Well, from what I see here, that is all I can explain about how can effective communication promote universal peace and prosperity. Hopefully, it can be answer it can be the answer for the question that was asked by our moderator. That's all from me. Thank you.
Wow, Danish, I think it's such a beautiful opinion that how this effective communication can promote those elements which is peace and prosperities. He said that this can promote trust. Trust is a part of key to make a relationship between human peace. So, I want to repeat the example that Danish has given as evidence to prove this one. Okay, try to imagine that if a society got a leader that great in communication, they will attract it to follow and give 100% of cooperation to their leader. So, when we search about this, we can found it that communication is so great in manipulating people to promote trust. I am not mentioned that manipulating here is bad, but what I mean is the trust can be existed by effective communication. Effective communication is also can spread out the loyalty towards someone. The loyalty is really necessary in relationship. Why? Because the loyalty is the sign of trustness. When people got loyalty to each other, they will believe and take care of each other. So I think these 2 points can prove that effective communication is really important to promote the peace and prosperity. Thanks, Danish. So, as the last answer of Danish, so it means that our discussion is going to the end. We have seen that from our discussion that effective communication plays a big role to make a peace in universal. We learned that how to develop effective communication like mastering the listening skills, emotional awareness, and so on. We also knew that there are so many reasons that why it's so important, like the future can be so beautiful, we can share our thoughts and more. This is such a brilliant discussion that we had. At the second round, we have learned that the way promote universal peace and prosperity, which is avoiding violence, stop the prejudice and discrimination, educate people, and more. We also have heard that how the effective communication can promote the universal peace and prosperity, which is our panel has answered like it promotes trust and also loyalty. I hope that we are really got something today. Not only learn, we also must take an action from what we have learned today. So I think it's the end of our forum this time. And at this moment, I would like to say sorry because of our problem, like line problem, lack of points, and our firm got ruined a little bit. But it's okay. We'll take a positive of it. Thanks to our panelists, which is Azwar and Danish, and thanks to those are watching too. See you soon.